You have been listening to Echo FM, a touch of home for the diaspora. For more of our programming, visit our website at echofm.com and click the links to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and email. You can also download our app to conveniently listen to your favorite programming right on your phone from your Play Store.
All right, everybody, and happy Saturday. This is Monica Karaoke, and you are on Echo FM. Again, today we have the one and only Honorable Babu Owino. He is the Member of Parliament for Embakasi East. Honorable Babu Owino, welcome to Echo FM, and thank you so much for having time for us today.
Thank you very much, Monica. It's a pleasure meeting you, and say hello to all the Americans, Kenyans, and also the rest of the world.
Yes, sir. I know you are so busy, but you had time for us. We don't take that for granted at all. So to get us started, let's just get started by you telling us a little bit about your childhood, the hardships that you've been through, what got you to where you are, and what inspired you to even get in office or even want to be in politics.
Thank you very much once again. I'm Babu Owino, Paul Ongili, born, bred, and raised from Kisumu, Nyalenda slums. Went to my primary school at Nyalenda in Kisumu, Central Primary School. Then after that, I went to Kisumu Boys High School. My education in primary, I must boast that I was quite an intelligent, and I'm still an intelligent child of my mom. Passed highly in primary school. KCP, I got 403 marks out of possible 500 marks.
Mm-hmm.
Then went to Kisumu Boys High School, where I got another 72 points out of a possible 84 points.
Wow. Mm.
Was called to join Egerton University, but I opted to do my A levels. It's
okay,
the kids around me, so it's okay.
Yeah.
It's allowed.
It's okay. We can hear
they want to tell me good night, but it's okay.
Yes, it's okay.
Sorry for that.
It's
so
all right.
Went to Boys, and then after that I was called to join Egerton University, of which I went to join. I opted to take my A levels. That's the Cambridge system. Then got a distinction in A levels. Then after that, joined the University of Nairobi, where I pursued actuarial science degree. And in actuarial science, I got first class honors, did masters in actuarial science, and also did another degree in law, where I scored second class upper division, and currently work clearing on my masters in law. Those are now 4 degrees, 2 undergrad, 2 postgraduate degrees. And I also have 6 diploma certificates. Then when I come to my childhood, I was inspired because I always knew that it is only education that will get me out of poverty. What I went through was so miserable. I came from a very sorry background where mom used to sell changa to enable us get food, to help us get food, to make both ends meet. The only option that we had, you know, when you reach a level where you must just sell changa to get school fee, you must just sell changa to get your food, then that is the lowest of the lowest. And what motivates me now is that if I came from the bottom, then I'll never go down. And as at that level in primary school, during that period, policemen used to harass people in the house because selling changa is an illicit brew. So it wasn't allowed, it wasn't legalized. And in fact, it was illegal to sell that illicit brew. So I could see even policemen whipping mom in the house, customers in the house. It was so frustrating. In our family, we have 3 siblings. My elder sister got married because at an early age, because of the problems. My brother had to go and look for ways of surviving. And then I'm the last born. And they sacrificed the education. They said that the only person that we want to be educated, because there was no sufficient funds to educate the 3 of us. So the only person who was to be educated was myself.
Oh, wow.
So I really thank them and appreciate them for that. And for that reason, I decided to get 4 degrees for every person in my family. For my mom, that is, I got a degree for her. That's first class honors, actuarial science. Then I got master's in actuarial science for my sister. Then law degree for myself, and then my brother, master's in law. So all, the four of us, we have each person has a degree, courtesy of myself. And courtesy of also the respect that they showed me, my 2 other siblings, to put aside their interest and focus on my education. So with that as it may, God has been faithful to myself and my family members. Our dad passed on when I was in class 3. So I didn't get a good opportunity to interact with my dad. So therefore we resolved to slum life, where I stayed for most of my life until my the upper part of the 20 years. So even at the university, we could still sell changa, at least to help us with the upkeep. But I know every other day I used to pray to the Almighty God. I used to kneel down to help me, to get me out of the slums. And I told God that should you get me out of the slums, then I will also help your people. Give me that opportunity to help your people. So leadership comes in where in primary school, I was a prefect throughout. Then when I reached class 7, I was a deputy head prefect. It was called deputy head boy by then. Then class 8, I became the head prefect, which was a head boy by then. Then went to high school, became a prefect throughout. In Form 4, I was a senior prefect. Then after that, in A levels, I was the head prefect for 2 consecutive terms. Then joined the University of Nairobi. Became SONU chairman. SONU means Students' Organization of Nairobi University. Served for a period of 4 terms until some were joking and saying that Babu Owino is the Mugabe of the University of Nairobi, or probably the Museveni of the University of Nairobi. But that wasn't my focus. My focus was service to the students at the University of Nairobi. Then 10 years later, my first time to come to Nairobi was in 2007 when I was going to do my A levels. Then I joined the University of Nairobi in 2008. So 2007 to 2017, 10 years later, I realized that God had a purpose for me, because my first time to buy a newspaper in my life was when my KCSE results came out. To me, I failed because I checked at my name from number 1 to number 100 in Nyanza province. Then I missed myself. First of all, nationally in Kenya, I missed my name. Then I went to Nyanza province, checked my name, from number 1 to 100, missed, moved from number 100 to 1, again missed it. Then I went to district level, checked, I missed my name. Then I said, God, I'm done. Because the only thing I needed in my life was to pass, was to pursue the ambition of my life, was to get my parents and my siblings and my friends from the shackles and the bondage of poverty, from the slum life. Then when I didn't see my name, I felt sorry for myself. I remember I was shedding tears. And I told God, let your will be done. That's why I decided not to go to Egerton, because whatever I wanted to pursue in life, I didn't qualify. I got 72 points out of 84 points. But I was admitted at the university, Egerton University. So with that in mind, I felt so sorry for myself. And 10 years down the line, I realized why God gave me those points, because God wanted me to take a different direction in life, a direction that was going to change his people as per my prayers. Every midnight, I used to kneel down and pray. And I want to tell Kenyans, I want to tell every other person in this part of the world that every day in the morning, before you talk to man, talk to God. Kneel down, ask him for forgiveness of any other sin that you might have committed, both knowingly and unknowingly. Talk to God and share with him your ambitions. Tell him to realign your plans with his plans. Because I know it is only through Almighty God that you can make it in life, nothing else. And indeed, God helped me. And 10 years down the line, I realized that the prayers that I used to pray on a daily basis, in the morning, in the evening, and in the midnight, those are the prayers that God answered, because I told God, put me in a position, remove me from the slums, and I will help your people.
Right.
Indeed, he removed me from the slums. And right now, I'm serving his people. I'm helping his people. He made me be a leader. For you to be a leader, you must agree to be a servant. And now I'm serving his people. And I want to tell people never to give up, because it can be done. If I did it to this level, you can do it. There's no difference. So to me, my story has been a journey. And I was inspired by poverty and the fear of it. And I was always tired of telling my history. Talking about my history, because I was tired of defending it. And it was time for me to focus in the future. And I know through the Almighty God, we are still in a journey together, and we are still moving together. In the course of my journey in life, there are ups and downs. There are storms that comes in life. Some are very heavy. Some I also think that, God, this is too big a cross for me to carry. But the Almighty God has never disappointed me. He's never left me alone. He's always walked with me through the storm. And I believe that through him, everything is well.
In that case, Honorable, well, you're a victor, because, you went through all that struggle. You had a will and wish to get out of the slums, and you did it. A lot of the university kids, and I call them kids because most of them are young enough to be my children, but the youth, there's so much joblessness. I see a lot of university youths that graduated, but they still cannot get a job. What have you done, or what is the government doing to secure jobs for these youths, or even to solve the issue of joblessness in Kenya?
Number one, I know joblessness is a problem that affects every country in this world. Even America, where you are, there's the issue of the joblessness. And this being a national disaster because of probably insufficient resources, or probably there are enough resources, but the leadership is not proper in any country, then people suffer as a result. And the main reason why people go to the university, number one, is for the acquisition of knowledge. Number two, some go so that they can better their lives through employment, being employed, getting jobs. Number three, you go to the university so that you can create jobs. So number one, I want to start with the idea of creation of jobs. As the youth in this country, let us focus on being employers, not being employees. That way, you shall never, never, never be disappointed, because the idea of waiting for somebody to employ you is at their mercy. Your will, your wish is at their mercy, is in their hands. So to avoid that, let us try create opportunities. How do we create opportunities? How do we create jobs? Number one, let us use what we have to get what we don't have. In the Bible, when God asked Moses that, what do you have in your hand? Because Moses said, I'm a stammerer, I cannot talk. Then God told him, I'll give you a brother called Aaron. Then he also said, but I have nothing. I can't go just like that. But God asked him, what do you have in your hand? He said, I have a stick. God told him, go and use that stick. It is the stick that delivered the Israelites from the bondage in Egypt. It is the stick that turned into a snake and swallowed other snakes. It is the stick that divided the Red Sea into two, that made the Israelites cross and were delivered. Therefore, I want to urge my fellow comrades, my fellow youth men and women in Kenya and in any other part of the country to use what they have, what is available for them in their hands. Now, what's available for us? Number one is some of the government opportunities. One, through funding, the youth fund. There's a fear that when you take this youth fund, probably you'll not be in a position to pay. If you don't risk in life, then that is risking in itself. But let us take that risk. Let us take these loans. Let us do business with the loans. Can you get me?
Yeah, I get it. I get you. I had lost you for a little bit, but you're back. But the thing is, Honorable Babu, to create employment or to, for them to employ themselves, or create opportunities, they require capital.
I'm explaining it.
Okay, so go ahead.
Let me finish it.
Sure,
Number one,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
One of the ways of getting capital is through government loaning. That is through Women Fund. That is through Owino Fund. That is. Let us exploit these opportunities. In my constituency as Babu Owino, the other day I gave Owino Fund to a tune of 10 million Kenya shillings. That's 100,000 US dollars. I gave Owino Fund loans. I do facilitate my youth to get a youth fund up to this level. I do facilitate women in my constituency through table banking initiatives and through other chamas for them to access the Women Fund. And in a month, we access up to a total of 1,000 US dollars loans. That is 5 million Kenya shillings. That is one way of getting capital. The second way of getting capital is through probably contributions from friends, from relatives. Because for you to succeed, you must be desperate. If you are desperate, success is about being desperate. If you are at comfort zone, you'll never succeed. Ask. The Bible says, knock and the door shall be opened. Ask and you shall be given. Seek and you shall find. So, and the same Bible says, a little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty will attack you like an armed robber. Therefore, you get out of your comfort zone and move. Seek for opportunities. That is number one, by creating jobs. Number two, leadership in the country. From the member of county assembly to member of the National Assembly, member of the Senate, to governors, and to the presidential level. If any Senate leader, any objective leader only performs 50% of his functions or roles, then there will be jobs in a country. One, personally as Babu, I've managed to link both graduates and non-graduates to industries within Embakasi East constituency and even to different parastatals within Kenya. How do I do this? By creating a rapport and knocking doors and walking. We have managed to put youth in various positions, be it a cleaner, an accountant, be it in any other position. We have different people with different degrees in different positions. We have those who are not blessed to study, probably because they lacked fee, have also been employed in these industries such as KEMSA, industries such as Coca-Cola within Embakasi.
I've lost you here.
Airports Authority. We have containers. These industries have done that. We have supermarkets around where we do recruit, for example, the Quick Mart supermarket. they give me proposals to give them various youth of different ages to work within their institution.
I've lost you again, Honorable Babu. But just if I can stop you right there, Honorable Babu, the problem with all that, I mean, it sounds good. It sounds, it sounds like something that, people should be doing and would be doing. But the problem with all that is bureaucracy. Most of funding and privileges that are available in Kenya, you have to be knowing someone, and not just knowing someone. Sometimes you're required to actually bribe so you can get it. And so some of these people, they don't have money to begin with. And so if they have to go out and bribe, and probably even know someone, some of them do not even have that opportunity. That's the problem.
I know that's a big problem. That's why I talked about leadership. If any leader can just perform,
leadership also will require money to campaign.
Which is true. But the moment you are campaigning, you are selling your manifesto. One of the things that any other leader says across the globe is that they will provide jobs. They will help to create jobs. Mm-hmm. Now, creation of jobs comes in different ways. Number one, for example, with the introduction of the 2010 Kenyan Constitution, came up with the issue of devolution. With the issue of devolution, up with different sectors to be dealt with, for example, in health, which was devolved. And when health is devolved, there are jobs that are at county level in Kenya to the medics. Are you getting me?
You're cutting off. You're coming on and off a little bit. I don't know. Yeah.
Can I use my phone? I think it will be very reliable.
Sure.
Just connect it in a minute.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
It's okay.
But are you getting me now?
Yeah, now I hear you. So but it still keeps coming on and off.
Mm-hmm. But I think let's just proceed. I think there's also...
Okay, let's continue. Okay, all right. Okay, so...
just a minute.
Okay.
Just admit me, please.
Okay. That's even better. That's even a better picture.
That's better?
Yes.
Okay, let me rearrange.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. That's good. All right. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So I'm talking about...
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your point. Then I can ask you the next question.
That at least have assisted in creation of some opportunities in the country. That is by provision of jobs in different sectors. When it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to health, when it comes to education. In education, there are teachers who are employed through TSC. And then there are also those who are not just working in that school as teachers. There are the subordinate staff who are also employed. So we find that devolution has really assisted our country. But I would urge our leaders in this country, in Kenya, to actually just do that which they can do to ensure that they change the lives of Kenyans, because people are really suffering in this country because there are no jobs. In fact, there's a common joke that I always make, that an average Kenyan, an average youth is so poor that he or she doesn't have money to buy a rope to commit suicide, because that Kenyan might want to commit suicide because there is no hope, but there's also not that little money to buy that rope. to commit suicide, to hang him or herself. So what does that leave us with? We as leaders, we need to transform the lives of our electorates. Those people that we promised to change their lives, we need to do it. It is a high time. But the advantage that Kenyans also have, the electorates, is that a term is 5 years. So there's hope that if that leader does not deliver, then that leader should go back home, because there is no business of re-electing a leader who is not working for the interest of his or her people.
Which is very true. I think Kenyan people need to learn to start holding leaders accountable. But now, okay, forgive me for saying this, but I feel that leaders in Kenya, in Africa, actually as a whole, when something doesn't work out, in their favor, we tend to change the rules of the game so that we can continue winning. And so my next question to you is, now we have BBI. Unemployment has been a crisis for a long time. And so why is BBI going to be any different if we couldn't have solved unemployment without BBI? Do we really need BBI so we can solve unemployment? Why is BBI going to be the saving grace now?
Monica, we need BBI more. Sorry. Let me just a minute. No, I'm saying we need BBI more than any other thing in this country. Why do I say so? There was and there is the 2010 Kenyan Constitution that at least provided a solution, and we can now enjoy devolution courtesy of that. Institutions, we can proudly say that some are very independent courtesy of that. We can see some institutions working. So where Kenya was in 92, where Kenya was in 2002, where Kenya was in 2007 is not where Kenya is in 2021. There are changes that were made. At least we can see things being done in this nation. There was the freedom of association, freedom of speech in the Bill of Rights that was introduced that is protecting Kenyan citizens. At least they can express themselves. There's the idea of picketing, which is enshrined in the Kenyan Constitution, which is their inherent and inalienable right as enshrined in the Kenyan Constitution, where they can actually express their views, their moods in an alternative way apart from the dialogue, which is accepted in the Constitution. The BBI, the reason why it is very urgent and very important is because, number one, there will be the increment of funding from 15% to 35% in all the counties in Kenya. What does this mean? That if bursary was being given at X amount, then bursary allocation will increase by 35%. That means that we will enhance that there's proper education in Kenya. So that child who cannot afford education, who cannot afford fees, that child will get an opportunity to get bursary at a higher level so that that child can finish his or her education. In the health sector, there'll be increment of funds. That means that more hospitals will be constructed, more health facilities will be constructed, and more doctors will be employed, more medics, medical attendants will be employed. So means that employment opportunity will increase. At the roads, more roads will be constructed, which means that there'll be easy transportation of goods and services, and also easy transportation of people from one area to the other, and easy access. And with proper roads, there's also proper security, because when there's proper roads, then there can be communication easily when there's insecurity somewhere, for the authority, the policemen, to come and assist, to come and create order. So with the increment of funds means that there'll be increment in jobs, even at the county level. At the constituency level, there will be, at the ward level, there will be the ward fund introduced, which will be, now, currently as we speak, there's no ward fund. So there can't be ward development that can take place. But with the introduction of the ward fund at the ward level, it means that there will be more services which will be offered to people. More jobs will be created. People will be employed. Water will be provided, which is one of the major challenges in Nairobi as a county, and also in my constituency, and also in some parts of this country, which are both arid and semi-arid. Then there will be also creation of many constituencies, more constituencies. Let me talk of that. Where people are saying that the wage bill will be high because more MPs will be employed, and they are against that. But let us look at the other side of the coin, where we say creation of many constituencies leads to creation, because there will be funding attached to it. More funds will come in form of constituency development fund to those constituencies. So as we speak, the ratio of a member of parliament to the ratio of the constituents, if there are more, which means that one member of parliament might not be in a position to serve so many constituents. But with the creation of other constituencies, it means that many other members of parliament will come in to at least fill in the gap and also reach the people so easily. With the addition of funds at the CDF level, it means that more schools will be constructed, proper security will be enhanced, bursaries will be given. It also means that roads will be constructed, because a CDF amount can construct roads when, number one, you talk to the authorities that are responsible for construction of the roads and you partner with them. Because if you deal with it as a matter of agency, they can do so. So ministers will be chosen from parliament. What does that mean? That the salary that a minister used to earn, plus the people that used to work under that ministry, there will be no serious wage bill in that department, because this member of parliament will earn as a minister, as a member of parliament only, with only an additional of responsibility allowance that will be given to that specific person, which means that wage bill will be reduced. To make matters better, that BBI will be best for the interest of the Kenyans. In any economy, if the economy is depressed, if there's depression or a problem in an economy, what does the government need to do? Is to inject more money in the system. BBI is injecting more money in the system. When you inject more money in the system, you increase demand. When you increase demand, when Babu Owino is going to a shop to purchase unga, Monica and any other Kenyan also goes to purchase unga from a shop, the shopkeeper will see the demand being higher. When the demand is higher, which means the supply should also be higher. So when the demand is higher, the shopkeeper will run to the industry where he gets unga from. The industry will talk to the person that actually we need more unga. The person at the industry will have to increase the production rate. When you increase production rate, which means you are creating more jobs, you have to bring more people to take care of the increment in the production. So when you increase the production, you increase more jobs. And then the person at the industry will also realize that he needs more raw materials, which means he runs back to the farmer and says, I want you to farm more materials for me. So more grains, more maize will be produced at the farm level, will be planted. When you plant more maize, you need more farmers again. So jobs are also being created. So when the demand is high, the supply will be high. So when the demand is high and the supply is high, they intersect at the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. At that optimum level, we achieve what we call macroeconomic equilibrium. So which means that the economy is growing at a higher rate. So with the introduction of BBI helps us, number one, to grow our economy if we pump more money at the grassroots level, the money that will reach people, the leaking basket concept The trickle-down effect, money must reach the pockets of the common mwananchi. Number two, the advantage of the BBI is inclusivity. Monica, you and I will agree that a country cannot grow when there is violence, when there is unrest. There must be peace. For children to go to school, there must be peace. For people to go work, there must be peace. For men and women to go do their businesses, there must be peace. In every electioneering period, there is post-election violence that consumes our young people, that consumes our mothers, our sisters, our fathers, that consumes people in this country. This country ought not to be divided along tribal lines. The problem that a Luo is experiencing is the same problem that a Kikuyu, a Kalenjin, a Kamba, a Luya, a Giriama, a Teso is experiencing. Therefore, we should not just be divided along tribal lines during electioneering period. We have proven beyond peradventure that that person that you think belongs to your tribe might not even help you. It is proven beyond reasonable doubt and beyond peradventure. Therefore, the BBI coming in brings in inclusivity, where a lawyer will not feel that we are being excluded from the system, where a Luo, where a Somali, where a Giriama, a Teso, a Mijikenda will not feel excluded from the system, either as a cabinet secretary, as a minister, or within the executive positions. That will be the president, deputy president, prime minister, and 2 deputies. Because it is women and youth who suffer most when there is election in this country. Election is free, you vote freely. Then after that, you are met with violence. You are met with death. You are met with loss of properties, which we should not tolerate. We should deal with it once and for all. And it's high time that we Kenyans, we need to be on the table. We need to have a discussion. We don't need to go through a process where people are worried, where a woman in the house is, instead of her husband or a child going to school or going to look for, to get money to make both ends meet, that person is engaging in violent activities, post-election violence. The time is now, and we better deal with it once and for all. That is the next. The third one is ways of dealing with corruption in this country. Corruption is a beast in this country. Corruption is a murderer. Corruption has consumed so many lives. Because that opportunity that a youth in Soweto slums in my constituency, that a mother in Nyalenda slums in Kisumu, that an old man or a man in Nyeri should be having, that opportunity is dissolved. It's multiplied by 0 and raised to power infinity. That opportunity that is going to someone's pocket, only an individual, should be dealt with once and for all. And there are structures by which corruption is going to be dealt with once and for all in this country, because that money that's supposed to provide jobs is helping somebody, just an individual. That money is lost in the individual's pockets at the apex of this nation, where we need the pyramid to go down. We need the trickle-down effect. So to me, there will be also a tax holiday, 7 years tax holiday for youth in this nation, where a youth is given an opportunity to do business without paying taxes. Then after that, you start paying taxes after 7 years. So that is quite lucrative, because it is something that a youth can bank on. After 7 years, you don't pay taxes, you just do business. For the university comrades, I feel when I was at the university, I used to fight for students' interest. Number one interest, when university fee was being increased, I used to fight against it. Number two, when help delayed, I used to fight not only religiously, but also spirited. Because when help delays at the university, a normal comrade, a normal student will not even go to class. For you to go to class, you must pay for the tuition fee. For you to eat, you must pay. For you to be accommodated, you must pay. So it pains me, and the money that was being given to the students was only 40,000 Kenya shillings, of which 28,000 was going to school fee, 12,000 for a whole year, which means a student was spending 1,000 per month. Divide that by 30 days, a student was spending 33 shillings per day. What can 33 shillings do, honestly? So with the coming of the BBI, number one, we will further push it so that this HELB loan becomes a grant. Let students be given a grant. Let them not pay back these loans. Number two, at least the BBI is also factoring the idea that after finishing your university, you will have an opportunity of around 4 years before you start repaying the HELB loan. So most students are stressed because once they clear their degree certificates, HELB is on their neck. They want the loans to be repaid instantly, immediately. So this is giving us an opportunity to relax for 4 years, be established, do our businesses or get jobs and be established. Then after that, you start repaying. But we want to negotiate further that there should be no repayment of these loans. It should be a grant.
Honorable Babu,
those are some to women. To women, there is a possibility stating that in every county, if a governor becomes a female, then a deputy governor should be a male. Or if a governor is a male, then a deputy governor may be a female, giving them an opportunity to serve at that level. With the nominations to fill in the 2/3 gender rule, the BBI is resolving that. Remember the other day, the Chief Justice proposed that Parliament should be dissolved because we were non-compliant with the 2/3 gender rule. But with the introduction of the BBI, it's going to solve that through nominations and through elections at the Senate level, because women are going to be elected as senators also. So I think BBI has more of the pros than cons, has more of the merits than the demerits, has more of the advantages than the disadvantages.
Honorable Babu, I want to take you back to the youth. So BBI sounds like it sounds good. It sounds like a good plan. It sounds like a good concept, but most, I don't want to say every politician, because not every politician is dirty, but I want to say most of the politicians have always promised, jobs. They have always promised, to improve the livelihoods of Kenyan people. But they usually don't deliver. So the more money that is going to be available, the more money is going to be available for, these politicians' pockets. So don't you think that so far trust has been broken? Why should Kenyan people still believe that a new, legislation is going to change their lives all of a sudden?
Start from somewhere. Previously, there were just promises that were being made, where you promise, and when you promise, that promise may not be a binding contract. Yes, some contracts may be oral, some are written contracts, but political promises are not binding. But to any other politician who not only has a dream, but has a vision, must look beyond the position that is targeting, must look at the lives of the people that elected him or her. So this depends on an individual. That's why we have a term of 5 years, where if anybody just is a liar or dishonest, or just promises, fake promises, or over promises and delivers, then that person, the people have a right. They have the sovereign power to return that people home, to take that person back to his or her wife or anywhere. But by the end of the day, let us not throw the baby with the bathing water. Let us appreciate the fact that even the 2010 Constitution that was promulgated, that is in place right now, has assisted. The evolution has worked to some extent. Actually, it has worked. Number two, let us also admit that when we have a set of rules that are used to govern a state, documented in a constitution, which should be followed to the latter, implemented to the latter, then the lives of the Kenyan citizens will change. There will be light after the tunnel. I'm very, very sure, because I know that save for political promises, which a person may choose to do or not to do. But don't just have dreams, have a vision when you are a leader. Personally, I can talk to you proudly because I know I've delivered over 96% of the promises that I gave to the residents of Embakasi East constituency. And as we speak, I can also tell you freely that my re-election is guaranteed because of development. For those who will not vote for me, they will just not vote for me because they don't like my face, maybe. But generally, I've delivered. And it is not about my re-election. It is about the lives of the great people of Embakasi East constituency, changing their lives for the better. It is what I promised myself, that if God gives me that opportunity, which he gave me, then it would be to transform, to change the lives of his people for the better.
Honorable, I want to talk to you about something else. So talking about unemployment, I do know sometimes I get people that reach out to me, maybe on Facebook, or whichever means. And so I've had a lot of young people that graduated from the university and they don't have jobs. They've, started doing drugs. Some of them are contemplating suicide. Do you think that as a society, we probably have neglected or, have not recognized the signs or the cry for help? Because most of the time, too, as a society, we don't like to talk about mental illness. We think that mental illness is something so serious, as in you have to be taking off your clothes, you have to be running in the streets. When mental illness can be something just as, I don't want to simplify this, but it can be stress and depression that leads into something serious and someone commits suicide, maybe because of frustration, of joblessness or whatever else. Do you think that as a society, we probably have let down the young people?
Actually, number one, we'll start from a family. A family is a basic, fundamental unit of life. From that family, when you are a parent, you have a child. You need to prepare your child psychologically. You need to train your child. You need not to leave your child grow, but help the child grow. Because somebody like myself, if I was to commit suicide, I would have committed suicide a long time ago. Why? Because I was hopeless. There was no food. There was nothing. There was no school fee. And even being left to grow in the slums was the only option. Why? Because if you get out from your house in the morning, mom might not wonder where you are during the day. Why? I can't blame her, because even if you come back for lunch, there is no lunch. So even if you stay away, there's no problem. So mom might just ask, is Babu in for the evening? To be a responsible mom, to find out where the kid is. But during the day, I cannot blame her. There was nothing. Even if you come back home, there is nothing. But I want to advise fellow parents that don't let your child grow on his or her own. Take your time, spend your time with your children, get to know their problems, what's disturbing them. Some of the causes of suicide, number one, are financial challenges. If I was to commit suicide because of financial challenges, I would have done it long ago. But I had hope that one day, this is not permanent. One day, I will get out of this. View a challenge just as a challenge, not as a problem, because challenges have solutions, but problems don't have solutions. Just know that there's always light after the tunnel, because financially, some people can commit suicide because there is no way out. But if you prepare your child psychologically, that you can at times lack, so that when a child lacks, knows that at times it can be normal to lack.
Mm-hmm.
So the child grows up knowing that there is also lacking. So when the child grows up, matures up, even if there's so serious disappointment with the government on the issues of jobs, or yourself, you don't create jobs, then there will be no serious issue that you want to reach the level of committing suicide, because psychologically you're already prepared. That is number one. Number two, there are ways by which the cultural issues can also result into a person committing suicide. Issues like FGM, female genital mutilation, early marriages, forced marriages, early pregnancies. Such issues can make somebody also commit suicide. So how do we deal with such issues? Through following the law. What does the law say about marriage in Kenya? For example, you can only be married after reaching the age of majority, which is 18 years when you are an adult. So anything below that is considered, number one, if there's any sexual activity or sexual intercourse, number one is considered as defilement. Then deal with it as per the law. Number two, things that are not legalized should not take place. For example, a girl can be stressed because of FGM. You know, those are things that are affecting people psychologically. So legally, they should be dealt with. There can be marital issues that can make somebody also commit suicide. So in marital issues, visit counseling centers. As a man, if you have issues, always rise above. If there are issues in the house, postpone fights. You don't need to fight with your wife. You knew why you married this woman. The woman knows why she married the man. It is about love and making peace. It is not about war. You are not in a military camp. It is about advising each other, appreciating each other, dating each other. Men, you can date your women, take them for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Have sex with them as many times as possible, because the Bible says that if you don't have sex, you will create. Somebody will long to do something that might also annoy you. So I think that can be a topic for another day about marriage. But the government also has institutions. The government also has institutions that it has put in place to deal with these issues of mental challenges. There are referral hospitals. There is Madare Referral Hospital. There are other government institutions that has been set to deal with such issues. There are counseling centers. There are rehabilitation centers. So I think the government has done something about the issues of mental challenges. And in the near future, in the foreseeable future, in the near future, I think that suicide and some of the mental challenges will be the greatest to man. I think we need to deal with this issue also, because it's not just
I'm losing suicide. You again.
Are you getting me?
I was losing you. You're back. I was losing you again. You're back. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead. It was just like a flip.
Okay. I think we need to deal with this issue of suicide and mental challenges. But although as we speak, there are enough institutions that can cover that. There are counselors that can deal with that. There are also proper parenting can deal with that.
Do you know if those services are free?
They might not be free, but they are affordable. For example, Madare Mental Hospital, they are affordable. Counseling sessions are affordable to whichever level, at whichever level that you need it to be offered. They are affordable. There are also online counseling sessions where you just go to YouTube, you just buy bundles. There are also church services. The church also plays a major role in that through counseling. So I think it is a collective responsibility. It cannot just be left to the government or to the state, but it is a collective responsibility.
Okay.
Yes.
I agree. Honorable, I want us to talk about COVID for a little bit. And you started, you initiated COVID-19 mass testing. How is that going? And are the hospitals in your area at full capacity?
Mass testing started in Kenya. COVID is a challenge like in any other country. Mass testing started in Kenya, and it is being done in dispensaries and hospitals within different sub-counties and different counties, and it's ongoing. Even though the Kenyan population is slightly bigger, probably in a day we can only handle much, but not so much. So there's also delay because of the availability of equipment, but it's being done as we speak. So COVID is more of a personal financial issue and more of a personal health issue. It's quite sad. And this is the disease that is not isolating anybody. It is dealing with all equally, the rich, the poor, the colored, the blacks, the whites, everybody. It is dealing with everybody equally. So it is just upon us to take serious measures about this COVID. So testing is ongoing.
Okay. What about due to lockdowns? You also started teaching mathematics and science. I have to tell you, as teacher Babu now, I did not have a math book in high school. So I probably could have benefited from your class. But you started teaching math and science. Okay, so let's recognize that there are some children that don't even have access to internet, let alone they don't even have access to a phone or a computer for them to be able to, to probably even get your math lessons or get lessons if we were doing online. I understand that the government has been given so much money. Why is it that we wouldn't be able to invest some of that money to making sure that funding is available for kids that can't even have access to, computers or phones or even the bundles themselves, for them to be able to participate in your classes or even their lessons in school?
Thank you. Now, talking as a teacher and not as a politician, I saw the need of coming out, because there were different challenges during the COVID period. There were early pregnancies. There was the issue of our boys and girls getting into drug addiction. And there was serious idling. And the Bible says an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So within my means, I could not reach them by going at their doorsteps. But I could use my social media platform to at least try change a life. Because I knew that the same opportunity that I was given while I was at Central Primary School, the same opportunity that I was given while I was at Kisumu Boys High School, I saw that same opportunity I can give to my brothers and sisters. I do admit that I have a talent, and I wanted to share that talent with fellow Kenyans and fellow members of the world. And I saw to it that each one can teach one, that I can hold the hand of that learner in primary school, the hand of that student in high school, and change their lives. Because education is a powerful weapon. When used well, can transform the whole world. And a nation that educates its citizen will never go wrong. When we look at Singapore under Lee Kuan Yew, transformed Singapore majorly through education, by educating its citizens. And Babu Owino himself is Babu Owino because of education. Were it not for education, I would not come to Nairobi. Were it not for education, I would not be a student leader. Were it not for education, I would not be a member of parliament. So education has also transformed my life. So I saw into it that there are different avenues to the city of victory. One of the avenues is through education, another one is through talent. So I saw into it that why, if I have a talent to exploit and help change the lives of others, why don't I use it? That's why I used my online platform to educate, to teach mathematics, to teach chemistry. And for that reason, very soon I'm going to start lecturing at the University of Nairobi, but I'll also be going around my constituency and other parts of the country, also to share my knowledge with others. And the government, yes, I did apologize for those who could not afford the gadgets that could lead them to access my information, my online classes. But it is not because they wanted to, it is because they lacked. And for that reason, I'm also challenging the government that their laptops that they promised, they can still buy it. It's never too late. They said that every student, every learner can get a laptop. It's never too late. Right now, learning is going online. We can invest in computers in various schools. Parents who are capable can also try and get their children phones, smartphones, or even computers. For those who are not in a position to do so, we are also praying that one day God will help you get one. But you can also, don't sit because you don't have. If you have a friend who has one, you can go to that friend and share. So we did start an online school called Educare Foundation ORG. We've produced content from grade 1 to grade 4, from class 5 to class 8, from form 1 to form 4. And the content is produced by teachers from national schools. If it is primary schools that are performing very well. Why did we choose that direction? Because a student at Kisumu Boys doesn't need to go to Alliance. We are bringing Alliance to your doorstep. If you are in Garissa, you don't need to go to Starehe. We are bringing Starehe to your doorstep. If you are in Central Primary School or you are in Embakasi Primary School, we are bringing Utawala Primary, Utawala Academy next to your door. I'm using Utawala because Utawala was the top school in Nairobi County, and it comes from my constituency. So with that as it may, we are also requesting fellow Kenyans, fellow members of the globe, to also help in financial assistance of Educare Foundation ORG, Educare Foundation, to help us also reach the needy students, the needy learners within our society by donating learning materials, by donating these gadgets that can help us to reach learners and students in various parts of the country. You can communicate to me through Babu Owino education@gmail.com or www.educarefoundationorg.org. So with that, we can help educate our children. So generally, I'll still apologize for those who can't afford these gadgets to access our online platform. And we did also say that there was KCPE results that were released just last week. And for the top students, around top 50 students, we are giving them free access to our platform. Our platform, if you download it, you download Educare Foundation ORG on your Play Store. Then you only subscribe at 10 shillings, Kenya shillings.
Why are we charging 10 shillings per day? So that we can use that amount for maintenance, for paying the teachers who are doing the production of the content, and also for paying the staff who are also making it possible for the students to access the online platform. Thank you.
Okay. So, Honorable Babu, this kind of pains a lot of people. Again, going back to the money that has been donated to the Kenyan government, none of that money has trickled down to the regular mwananchi. You know, right now with COVID, even just testing of COVID, you know, people have to pay to be tested. And the reason why we probably even have, COVID infected people and we don't even know if they're infected is because we're probably not even testing enough, because some people don't even have the money to even go get tested. But now going back to the youth, some of them still have to repay help, and some of the people still have to pay bills. They don't have money. For example, in America, and I'm not saying that Kenya has to do like America has done, but in America, you cannot be evicted during this time of COVID. You cannot be evicted. You cannot lose your mortgage just because of COVID. You know, so the government has made that available. Why is it that some of this money, or actually all of this money, was meant to help Kenyan people to cope with COVID? How come this money has not even trickled down to Mwananchi? And especially, HELB is a government-funded program. Why would the government be expecting students to pay back HELB?
As at now, I would expect no student is paying any help, and I would advise them not to pay as at now, because we are going through a serious financial time. The country is depressed. People are depressed. So right now, what we are focusing on is what can we eat? It's not what can we repay. So about help, I would advise fellow comrades, I don't think you should pay that now, truth be told. Number two, because even the universities are closed. And even for those who are finished, some of them have been laid off. So there are no jobs. So you can't use what you don't have. Nemo that quod non habet rule in law. It states that you cannot use what you don't have. You cannot spend what you don't have. So right now, there should be laxity in asking for such funds from even HELB itself. And on the same note, I did fight for the students just the other day when HELB was delaying. I went to the Cabinet Secretary Treasury. I talked to the CEO of HELB, and HELB was released with an immediate effect because I feel them, I know them, they're part of my system. I've been there where they are, and I will still fight for them. The issue of COVID funds, it's quite unfortunate. It's about corruption, not complying with the procurement rules, procedures. There are those who did supply. There are those who didn't supply, who supplied air. We call it that. I'm in Public Investment Committee, where we are doing the oversight role. We've summoned over 100 companies that did supply and that didn't supply. And very soon we are coming up with a report. And as we speak, there are those that are already guilty as charged. There are those that we've noticed among those companies that actually committed fraudulent activities by pilfering the hard-earned Kenyan money, by expropriating their funds, by misusing, abusing their funds. So we will come up with a report very soon to that effect. The report will be directed to the DPP to take action to charge those involved. I know in any society, nobody is perfect. It is not a perfect society. There are those who are good, there are those who are bad, there are those who are just there. But at least we will do our mandate as per the committee. And I also urge the other arms of the government to also assist Kenyans so that at least this money that is meant for Kenyans, let it go to Kenyans. Let it not go to specific individuals' pockets, because this is like committing murder, killing so many Kenyans.
Mm-hmm.
No mass testing, no food, no rent, psychological stress is there. A lot has been happening during this COVID period. So let us actually, as a nation, as a state, as a government, we ensure that we protect our citizens by doing the right thing. Even if you feel that that is not the right thing that should be done at that time, let us just do the right thing for the right interest of the Kenyan citizens. So I think that will be dealt with.
So very quickly, Honorable Babu, and I want your honest opinion. How effective do you think that this government's response to the pandemic has been? Have they been effective, in your opinion?
So there are pros and cons, there are merits and demerits, but the merits, I think, outweighs the demerits when it comes to protection of life, because there's COVID everywhere in this world, in all the countries, except just but a few. But with the existence of COVID, you find that, for example, in the United States of America, the number of people who are infected are more than the number of people infected in Kenya. The number of people who have died in America are more than the number of people who have died in Kenya. What does that show you? That at least there are measures that the government has taken to protect its citizens. And even in other countries, if we compare, you find that the numbers are higher who are infected than in Kenya, and even the deaths are higher than in Kenya. So I think that the government has done its part, and have been, now as we speak, Kenyans are really suffering when it comes to financial matters. I would urge also the government to open up the country, the president to open up the country. But as we open up the country, citizens must be responsible. They must adhere to the COVID rules. They must sanitize. They must keep social distance. They must put on masks. They must ensure that at least they follow the rules set up, because it is for your own interest. It is for your own health. But I do agree that at least, Mr. President, to open up the country, because people are really suffering. Look at the hospitality industry. Look at the DJs, they are suffering. Look at the waiters, the waitresses, and any other person who works within that industry. And look at any other sector. People are being laid off because nothing is moving. There is no purchasing power. So it's a sad thing that we are in it, but we are also praying for God to also help us come out of it.
Honorable Babu, would you still be running for president in 2027?
Thank you, Monica. Thank you for having faith in me to lead this nation someday. That's why you've asked that question. So I want to tell you that as I'm overqualified for any position in this nation. I'm overqualified to be a member of county assembly, up to being a president in this nation. There are presidents who are younger than me. Fidel Castro became a president at 32 years. Gaddafi became a president at 28 years. We have Thomas Sankara at 33 years. So generally, we have people who have become presidents at very young age. The same time, I'm a member of parliament at my early 30s. So I believe that I'm overqualified to lead this nation. But the Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3 that there's a time and a season for everything. A time for Babu Owino to go vie for member of parliament to be re-elected in 2022, and a time for Babu Owino to vie for president in the foreseeable future. So when that time comes, I will be glad to announce it. But for sure, I will vie for president of this Republic of Kenya one day in the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Fair enough. So let me ask you a question, and I just want a yes or no on this one. If Honorable Raila Odinga had not endorsed BBI, would you have endorsed it? Would you have been supporting it?
It is the brainchild of Raila Amolo Odinga because he means well for the interest of Kenyans.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he's a very selfless person. He shelved his ambition in 2007 of being the president and became a prime minister for the interest of the Kenyans. He was detained in Kamiti, in Shimolatewa prison, in Naivasha Maximum Prison, in Industrial Area Prison, mm-hmm. because he was fighting for Kenyan citizens. He participated majorly in the introduction, in the promulgation of the new Constitution 2010, Kenyan Constitution, the current one that we are using. It is because of Baba. It is because of Baba that the evolution came. In 2017, he shelved his ambition for the interest of Kenyans. He agreed to the handshake. And now he's also coming up with an idea whose time has come about amending the Constitution to help Kenyan citizens. So as Babu Owino, in fact, in 2022, I'm fully behind Baba. Now I'm fully behind Baba. If he tells me left, I go left. If he tells me right, I go right. If he tells me to jump, I'll ask him how high. If he tells me to dance, I will dance before the music starts. So to me, Baba is my political mentor. He guides me. Mm. He has the experience. And he said yes, so he will not say no. So it's not a matter of saying that if he didn't say, it is him who said yes. And when he said yes, I'm also an intellectual whose intellectual capacity in the intellectual balance is at optimum. So I read the BBI and I know it is for the interest of the Kenyan citizens. It's very objective, by the way. Mm-hmm. Some people are saying that it's for creating positions for a few individuals. But for how long? For how long? For how long? We are not winding up Kenya. We are not dissolving this country. For how long? It is for posterity. Baba is looking at the next generation, not the next election. So let Kenyans, we should open our eyes. Mm-hmm. Because it is for the good of us.
I agree with you, Honorable Babu Owino, a member of Parliament Embakasi East. Thank you so much again for being with us today. And for all of you that are watching on Facebook and those of you that are listening on Echo FM radio, we thank you so much. We wouldn't have a show without you. Honorable Babu Owino, thank you so much.
Asante, thank you. Say hi to Biden.
I will.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you.
I have